This is High School Challenge, the varsity sport of the mind. Now, here's your host, Jim
Hello, everybody,
Gaber.
and welcome to more first-round action on Michigan Television's High School Challenge. We're fortunate to have two terrific teams ready to play, so let's meet our contestants right away, shall we? First, from Montrose High School, Hill McCloy High School in Montrose, we have Brittany Coxon. Brittany is interested in drama and wrestling stats, has placed second in Quiz Bowl last year, hopes to attend Central Michigan University, hopes to become a middle school or a high school teacher. Next for Hill McCloy is Michael Pearsall. Michael is involved in track and the combo band. He loves Star Wars. He is planning on attending the University of Michigan or Central Michigan and going into becoming a meteorologist. Next is the captain of the Hill McCloy team. That would be Brad Ellithorpe. Brad runs track. He's involved with jazz combos, Quiz Bowl, and band. He hopes to major in music education and eventually be a band teacher. And rounding out the Montrose team is Kayla Fall. Kayla is involved with Quiz Bowl, reading, drawing, is planning on attending the Skills Center and then college for 4 to 6 years at Central Michigan or at the University of Michigan, eventually wants to become a doctor or a teacher. Those are our players for Montrose High School. Now let's meet our team returning from Powers High School. We have Dan Eklund. Dan is a sophomore at Powers, is on the honor roll, NEDT honors, and MMPC finalist in 03 and 04, hopes to become a math professor. Nicholas Walzak is a senior at Powers, plans on going into computer programming right here at the University of Michigan Flint. Captain of the Powers team is Robert Goyette. Robert is a senior member of the National Honor Society, is a 3-year semester honor roll participant, is undecided on college and career track right now. And rounding out the Powers team is Samuel Hefty. Sam is a junior at Powers, plays soccer, piano, is a senior patrol leader in a Boy Scout troop, participated in the Flint Area Science Fair for the past 3 years, and competed in the International Science and Engineering Fair last year. Would like to obviously get into a science field someday. Those are our participants. I remind you at home that our judge for High School Challenge from Genesee Intermediate School District is Julie Pritchett, and our scorekeeper, timekeeper for this game is TJ Kiefer. Teams, we're ready to go. Here are your rules for round one. I'm about to ask you a series of questions worth 10 points apiece. The player buzzing first may answer when I recognize you. If you're correct, your team scores the 10 points. If you're incorrect, the other team gets a shot at the same question. Remember, you may interrupt me at any time I'm asking a question. There's no point penalty for incorrect answers. However, at that point, I would repeat the entire question for the other team. Good luck. Here we go. Arrange the following 4 kinds of creatures in correct chronological order: amphibians, fish, mammals, and reptiles. Sam Powers.
Fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals.
That's correct. Your next toss-up teams. First held in Athens in 1896, Dan Powers.
Olympics.
Olympics is correct. It's the number of frames per second that motion picture film travels to make motion appear natural. How many frames is that? Is it, let's see, Brad, Montrose?
30.
That's incorrect. It's the number of frames per second that motion picture film travels to make motion appear natural. How many frames is that? Is it 24, 60? Nick Powers.
24.
24 is correct. On a Cartesian graph, the y-axis is the ordinate. What's the Dan Powers?
Abscissa.
Abscissa is correct. The other toss-up teams, quote, "This is not the end, this is not even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning," end quote. What British Prime Minister spoke these words in November of 1940? Robert Powers.
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill is correct. It was originally sworn to Apollo. Today it's sworn to whatever the speaker holds sacred. What vow pledges loyalty to the profession of medicine? Dan Powers.
Hippocratic Oath.
Hippocratic Oath is correct. Your next toss-up teams. In 1542, Spanish explorer Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo named this West Coast state for a mythical island in a medieval Spanish romance. What is this strange state? Robert Powers.
California.
California is correct. He wasn't comfortable with the uncertainty and randomness of quantum physics. I am convinced, he said, that God does not play dice with the universe. Who was this German physicist? Brad Montrose.
Einstein.
Einstein is correct. Miss Havisham lives at Santa's house and befriends a boy named Pip. In what Dickens novel does it all happen? Time's up. Great Expectations is the answer. Here's another toss-up. It starts with Ash Wednesday and ends on Holy... Dan Powers.
Lent.
Lent is correct. Your next toss-up. Measured in kilogram meters per second squared, it's the product of mass times acceleration. Nick Powers.
Newtons.
That's incorrect. Measured, Mike Montrose.
Velocity.
Also incorrect. Force is what I needed. Quote, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however, Dan Powers.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes is correct. Your next toss-up, teams. It seems like mathematics, but it's not. Well, not really. Here's the problem. Arrange 4 9s so that they equal 100. Dan Powers.
9 times 9 plus 9.
That's incorrect. Time's up. 99 and 9 over 9. 99 plus 1 becomes 100. Quote, something there that doesn't love a wall, end quote. Whose poem, Mending Wall, begins with this memorable line? Time's up. Robert Frost is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. IBM is also known as Big Blue. What shipping company is known in the industry as Big Sam Powers?
UPS.
UPS is correct. Big Brown. Another toss-up. Herbert Hoover, Alf Landon, Wendell Willkie, and Thomas Dewey all lost to him. Who was this 4-time president? Dan Powers.
Franklin Roosevelt.
That's correct. George and T.S. Eliot are an unlikely pair of authors. What last name is shared by another unlikely couple of writers, Thomas and Virginia? Robert Powers.
Wolfe.
Wolfe is correct. Your next toss-up. It's one of those quotations you think you know until you try to say it. What exact 5 words follow, that's one small step for a man? Robert Powers.
One giant leap for mankind.
That's correct. Your next toss-up. The scapula is a flat triangular bone connected to your clavicle. What is it more commonly called? Brad Montrose.
Shoulder blade.
Shoulder blade is correct. Your next toss-up, teams. It has been described as the most sublime noise that has ever penetrated the ear of man. Which Beethoven symphony begins with fate knocking at the door? Dan Powers.
Ninth.
Ninth is incorrect. Montrose. Brad?
Fifth.
Fifth is the correct answer. The asteroid belt is a band of rubble between 2 planets. Which to Nick Powers?
Mars and Jupiter.
Mars and Jupiter is correct. Disk space in personal computers used to be measured in kilobytes and megabytes. Dan Powers.
Gigabytes.
Gigabyte is what I'm after. Your next toss-up, teams. No reliable records or drawings have survived, but its site was discovered in 1989 in what theater were many of Shakespeare's plays? Robert Powers.
The Globe.
The Globe is correct. Here's your next toss-up. These Asian nomads entered Europe in the 4th century A.D., raided Gaul and Italy, and then retreated again. Attila was one. Robert Powers.
The Huns.
The Huns is correct. Your next toss-up, teams. The acid that gives cheese its tasty tang can have you in agony when your muscles don't get enough oxygen during exercise. Brad Montrose.
Lactose.
That's correct. Your next toss-up. In a landmark 1966 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that police officers must inform the accused of his legal... Brittany Montrose.
The Miranda rights?
That's correct, Miranda. Here's your next toss-up. 3 initials complete the 1964 Democratic Party presidential campaign slogan. It was all the way with Nick Powers.
JFK.
That's incorrect. Montrose? I'm sorry, there's the bell. We don't pass it on. 1964, all the way with LBJ. And that's going to bring us to the end of round 1. As you can see behind me, Montrose, you trail at this point, so that gives you the first crack at round 2. That's our 60-second round. I'm about to give you a choice of 3 categories. Once you've selected, you'll have 60 seconds to answer up to 10 questions in that category. Remember, you may consult during this round. No need to buzz in, but I will be taking the answers from Brad, the team captain. If you don't know an answer, you must say pass before I move on. We'll give you 10 points for each correct answer, a 20-point bonus if all 10 are correct. Montrose, once your 60 seconds is up, Powers, you'll have 30 seconds to answer anything they missed, passed on, or didn't get to, and then we'll repeat the process. Montrose, your choices for this game are city people, Hollywood history, or it looks like potpourri.
Potpourri.
Okay, you've taken potpourri. Looks like potpourri, it sounds like potpourri, it must be potpourri. Questions about a variety of people, places, and things for 10 points each. Here we go. We begin with number 1. What blood vessels carry blood to the heart?
Veins.
Correct. What Hall of Fame catcher once said, "I really didn't say all the things I said"?
Pass.
What triatomic form of oxygen in the atmosphere protects us against ultraviolet rays?
Ozone layer.
Correct. What music sharing device was finally forced to obey copyright law in 2001?
Napster.
That's correct. In Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October, what kind of ship is the Red October?
Submarine.
That's correct. What large island lies 112 miles off the coast of Florida?
Cuba.
That's correct. What Mark Twain character tricks his friends into whitewashing a fence?
Huck Finn.
Incorrect. What is the most common surname in the English-speaking world?
Smith.
That's correct. What musical instrument consists of wooden bars played with 2 small mallets?
Marambas.
Incorrect. What sea is the setting for Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea?
Pass.
And you threw all 10. You have 6 out of 10 correct for 60 points. We'll reset at 30 seconds. Powers, from the top, what Hall of Fame catcher once said, "I really didn't say all the things I said"?
Yogi Berra.
That's correct. What Mark Twain character
Tom
tricks his...
Sawyer.
That's correct. What musical instrument consists of wooden bars?
Xylophone.
That's correct. What sea is the setting for Ernest Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea?
Caribbean.
Caribbean is correct. You get the other 4, and now, Powers, you may select between city people and Hollywood history.
City people. City people. City people.
Okay, some people live in the city, and some people have cities in their names. For 10 points, identify, for 10 points each, identify the city these people and other living things share a name with. We begin with number 1. Our first president selected the site for our national capital.
Washington. Washington.
Correct. This friendly ghost comes from a small town in Wyoming.
Casper.
That's correct. After serving as Attorney General, she moved back to Florida,
Reno.
not to Nevada.
Reno.
Correct. This Italian explorer discovered the New World, then moved to Ohio.
Columbus.
Correct. The author of Call of the Wild was an English.
London.
That's correct. The author of Pride and Prejudice never lived in the capital of Texas.
Austin. Austin.
Correct. After writing 13 New Testament epistles, he moved to Minnesota.
St. Paul.
Correct. Sabrina's Cat, or a city in Massachusetts famous for witches.
Salem.
Correct. Her movie, The Bodyguard, was popular in Texas.
Houston.
That's correct. He wrote God Bless America, not God Bless Germany.
Pass.
That was your 10th one. So you have 9 out of 10 correct. We reset at 30 seconds. Montrose, he wrote God Bless America, not God Bless Germany.
Pass.
Pass, no answer. Irving Berlin is the correct answer on that one. And we've had a lot of points scored in that round, so we're going to total them up and be back in a moment. But first, I'd like to introduce you to the coach and alternates from Montrose. They are Coach Kerry Dow, along with Clarence Smith, Robert Laird, Krista Ply, Ashley Clark, and Maggie Dennis. We welcome those folks from Hill McCloy High School in Montrose, and we hope you'll stay tuned and come back for some extra credit right after this. Welcome back, everyone, for our extra credit round, but first let's meet our coaches and alternates from Powers Catholic High School. They are coaches Callie Bartos and Greg Koval, and alternates Andy Jabinski and William Hipkins. We welcome all of them, and we welcome you back to our extra credit round in High School Challenge. Teams, remember, during this round, the rules are the same as they were in round one for toss-up questions. The difference here is that a correct answer earns your team not only 10 points, but a shot at 10 points of extra credit for your team. Remember, you may consult on extra credit questions. I'll take answers from the team captains. And at the end of the game, if I'm in the middle of an extra credit toss-up cycle, we play through that whole cycle before the game is officially over. Good luck. Here we go. Your first toss-up, this 1957 novel was originally written as one paragraph on a 250-foot roll of paper. Let's see, Robert Powers.
On the Road.
On the Road is correct. Powers, your extra credit. This river served as one of the northern boundaries of the Roman Empire for much of its history. What river runs from Switzerland to the North Sea?
Rubicon.
It's incorrect. The Rhine is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. This country was once bordered the Red Sea, but the 1993 independence of Eritrea made it landlocked. Nick Powers.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is correct. Powers, professional hockey has the Stanley Cup. Pro football has its Lombardi Trophy. In what card game does the world champion win the Bermuda Bowl?
Euchre, maybe? Poker.
Poker's incorrect. Bridge is the correct answer. Your next toss-up. He cried out twice, a cry that was no more than a breath. The horror, the horror. Who speaks these last words in Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness? Robert Powers.
Kurtz.
Kurtz is correct. Powers, your extra credit. Lead is a heavy metal, but the heaviest metal is also the heaviest naturally occurring element. What radioactive element becomes lead when it decays?
Uranium. Uranium.
Uranium is correct. Your next toss-up, teams. On May 19th, 1536, Henry VIII has his wife Anne Boleyn beheaded on charges of adultery. The next day, he married Anne's lady-in-waiting. Who was Henry's third wife? Sam Powers.
Jane Seymour.
Jane Seymour is correct. Powers, the Oscar-winning film The Pianist, the story of a Polish musician's escape from the Nazis, featured the music of this Polish composer, who wrote 16 compositions based on Polish dances. Pass. No answer? Chopin is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. Balboa is at one end, Columbus is at the other. What 10-mile wide strip of land has cities at either end named for these explorers? Dan Powers.
Royal Road.
That's incorrect. Montrose. Time's up. Panama Canal is the correct answer. Here's another toss-up. In one hand, you have a cube measuring 12 centimeters to a side. In your other hand, you have a number of cubes measuring 4 centimeters to a side. How many smaller cubes will it take to fill the larger? Let's see. Brittany Montrose.
3.
3's incorrect. On the one hand, you have a cube measuring 12 centimeters to a side. In your other hand, you have a number of cubes measuring 4 centimeters to a side. How many smaller cubes? Dan Powers.
27.
27 is correct. Powers, your extra credit. In May 2001, he said, quote, Vermont has always been known for its independence, end quote, as he left the Republican Party and became an independent. Who is this U.S. Senator?
Pat Buchanan.
It's incorrect. Jim Jeffords is the correct answer. Your next toss-up. A double circle of menhirs, a circle of uprights and lintels, and an avenue leading to the Thames River. What is this megalithic monument? Megalithic monument, I'm sorry. Time's up. Stonehenge is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. Quote, someone must have been telling lies about Joseph K., for without having done anything wrong, he was arrested one morning, end quote. What novel by Franz Kafka begins with these ominous words? Robert Powers.
The Fly.
Fly is incorrect. Montrose. Time's up. The Trial is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. On July 16th, 1969, Mission Control declared it #1 on the runway. What moon mission was ready? Sam Powers.
11.
Say again?
11.
More specific?
Apollo 11.
That's correct. Powers, in the Cynic's Word Book, Ambrose Bierce describes it as an account mostly false of events mostly unimportant, brought about by rulers, mostly knaves, and soldiers, mostly fools. What academic subject is he describing?
History.
History is correct. Your next toss-up. In 1952, movie Buona Devil, the IMAX movies Space Station, T-Rex, Ghosts of the Abyss, and Bugs. The latest Spy Kids movie. Robert Powers.
3D.
They're all 3D movies, that's correct. Powers, your extra credit. After Odin killed him, the heavens were made from his skull, the earth from his body, and the seas from his blood. In Norse mythology, who was this first giant? Time is up. Ymir is the correct answer. Y-M-I-R. Your next toss-up. In 1871, Hanover, Mecklenburg, Saxony, Bavaria, and Prussia united to form a Dan Powers.
Germany.
Germany is correct. Powers, your extra credit. Estrogens are female sex hormones. What general name is given to male sex hormones? So Powers, this is your extra credit. What general name are given to...
Testosterone.
Say again.
Testosterone.
That's incorrect. Androgens is what I needed. Here's your next toss-up, teams. It's been called Dickens' most revolutionary novel, the French Revolution, that is. Dan Powers.
A Tale of Two Cities.
Tale of Two Cities is correct. Powers, quote, the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line, the relation of the darker to the lighter races, end quote. Who wrote these words in The Souls of Black Folk in 1903?
Du Bois.
That's correct. Your next toss-up, teams. Alphabetically, ZR is the last element on the periodic table. What element is it? Sam Powers.
Zirconium.
Zirconium is correct. Powers, your extra credit. This Southeast Asian country is rapidly destroying its forests in the Sarawak region of northwest Borneo. What country is it? I'll take an answer.
Indonesia.
It's incorrect. You had 2 seconds remaining before the bell went off, so I had to take that. Malaysia is the correct answer there. We are at the end of our game, however, and as you can see behind me, Powers has once again come out victorious. Congratulations to you. Montrose, to you, congratulations on a game well played, and good luck in the remainder of your competitions throughout the year. We'll be back with more competitions here at High School Challenge. I'm Jim Gaver. Have a good day. High School Challenge is a co-production of Michigan Television and the Genesee Intermediate School District.